So Nina,
Okay.
will you share how you solved this problem, or what were some of the steps you took?
All right. So it was cut into 40ths, and I knew that I wanted it to somehow be friendly with 100 because I can find percentages and decimals with 100.
Mm-hmm.
And so 40, I saw that I could reduce it to get it to 3/20ths, and then is an equivalent fraction, and then when you multiply it by 5, that would get me to my magic 100.
Okay, so what were you able to do then that you had the denominator be 100?
So then I could easily answer the questions. I knew it was 15% because it was out of 100,
Okay.
and it was 1500ths because it was out of 100, and I knew the fraction would be 15 out of 100 because it was out of 100.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Molly, will you share, we kind of had a conversation about, well, wait a minute, this model is out of 40, but when we talk about decimals and percentages, we're talking about out of 100. So then we were talking about how can we make this model be out of 100?
So it starts with 4 rows of 10, which if we just change that up a little bit, it could be that simplified fraction like you were talking about, the 3 out of 20. So I just redrew 4 rows of 5, and then I actually didn't get this until I reshaded. First of all, I shaded my 3/20ths up here, and I was trying to figure out how to partition it to get 100 by dividing it into 5, and I couldn't do it until I moved my shaded parts down here, because then if I divided each of those by 5, well, maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I did backwards.
Because my shade's up top and it's the same thing. I don't think it matters where you put
Okay,
your
no,
shade.
I should have shaded it that other way, because if you did each 4 out of 5, then you're getting the 100. I didn't count my guys.
So this is how I shaded mine.
Yeah.
So what I did is I had the original grid, so I'll zoom out a little.
Yeah.
So I had this one and I removed these 2 lines because the first thing that we did is we divided it, that 40 by 2 to get to 20. So I took away
Right.
those 2. And then, so I had these 2 chunks up here with still my 6
Can I draw in
shaded
between
ones.
one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you want to
Absolutely.
Use a highlighter almost.
So we still have 10.
Yep, so we still have 10 over there. So now we have 20.
Oops, pretend like that's
It happens in class all the time.
Okay, there it is.
And then I still had my shading too, so I had that whole row shaded. Yeah. Nope,
Oh.
I had that and then half of that top one shaded.
Just half of the top one.
Well, cause that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Yeah.
of them shaded, and then each of these I divided
Or 3/20.
horizontally
And then if you go
into
that
5.
way- Okay, so
Yeah.
I did it, yeah. That's good.
But it still represents the same thing.
Yeah,
And
because
yours connects to the original picture where it's then still the same size.
Yeah,
of
the same size and the
not only
same.
that,
Fine
but
with
it connects
6/40ths.
to that model of you reduce 6/40ths to 3/20ths. That is,
Yeah,
Two.
by
Taking
taking those out to get to
out.
the 3/20th, so then we show 3/20th. And
But-
then,
just gonna say, the way I colored it here, it wouldn't have been that helpful, would it? I still want to mess with it. Like if you took out that and you took out that.
but then you divide it this way, so I think it still would be, but let's
Anyway, I
try
just need
and
to play
see
around.
if the shading makes a difference or not on that, so, excellent, thank you. So then I wanna talk a little bit about, kind of what we did with that. So if this is a 7th grade task, and you guys teach 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, so you're probably not going to be using something like that. So what are some skills that your students use at your grade level, or learn at your grade level, that could be used to help them solve this task?
Well, we set the building blocks for just equivalent fractions, and to be able to solve
Mhm.
this task, especially the way we did it, you're gonna need to own equivalent fractions.
Absolutely. So just what is equivalent fractions? How do we make equivalent fractions? Absolutely. And you're third grade, right? Okay. So third grade. So fifth grade or fourth grade, what are some things you do? I know equivalent fractions are pretty big in fourth grade too.
I think that, like the number, the 6 and the 40,
Mm-hmm.
they hopefully would have seen that you could reduce it. So I think they would know their math facts well enough in fourth grade to see to reduce it. They wouldn't know though to turn it to 100. I don't think necessarily. That's more of a fifth
That would be a
grade.
higher level.
Yeah.
Because that's
For
only
sure.
2%.
Yeah, to know that 100. But the model is certainly something that we've used before to
Mhm.
find equivalent fractions. So yeah, they have used the model to where you're cutting vertically and horizontally and then comparing.
To get them, yeah.
So.
So then, what are some things in the Eureka curriculum? Are there any models or other things that you use throughout the curriculum that would help with this? So you mentioned
This
the,
is a Eureka model that we've used.
yeah, so you partitioning in a certain
Partitioning
way.
in that vertical and horizontal, the thoughtfulness of
Mhm.
which way you are drawing those lines. I
Mhm.
think that, because there's a lot of conversations about that and a lot of practice with that, it helps, I mean, I messed it up on mine, but it helps you think about it.
Mhm.
about
How can I do this?
which way you draw the line
Yeah.
actually changes the
Meaning.
meaning of it, exactly.
Absolutely, exactly. So what could you do, how would you use this task in your classroom? You're obviously not gonna use this particular this task, because students are going to, we will move beyond productive struggle into just struggle. So what are some things that you could possibly use from this to help your students? Or what could you use as a piece of this task to, with your students?
I wonder, in fourth grade, if we tied it into being like a money task, like not just making it just a random shades, blah, 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 but made like a real world problem where they were using money, and then that
The
100,
discount.
yeah, the 100 would start to make sense because the 100 could be $1,
Yeah.
and then they might be able, then they might be able to figure out how to turn 6/40 into that dollar, and then like it could be dollars
And also
cents.
just a slightly more simplistic number relationship.
Yeah.
If it was not 40ths but 50ths, you
Yeah.
could lead down that
Mhm.
path a lot more easily. And
Yeah.
the light bulbs would still be their own light bulbs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think 50ths or even 25.
Right, exactly.
Or, yeah, something that's a little bit more friendly with 100, then you have to reduce and then multiply, get another equivalent fraction up there, and that's not always the first thing that you think of. So, all right, excellent, thank you.